Either knees together or knees apart, and then sit back on your heel and extend your arms out in front of you and give yourself a stretch and just settle back into your heels and begin breathing into your body. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose, feeling your back body expand, feeling your ribs expand. I love starting in child's pose. It feels like you can connect to the earth, inhaling that energy and positivity. And as you exhale, just letting go of anything you don't need, sending it back down there. Just send it into the earth, let it absorb it, recycle it. Couple more breaths here. And then when you're ready, rising up onto your knees, coming to tabletop, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, just working through a few cow-cats here. So you can do cow-cat, you can move side to side, just move your spine as you need to move your spine. And for those of you who I don't know, I am Monica. I used to teach at past tense, and then I left the country, and so it is super fun to be able to do this remotely. I am down in the Dominican Republic right now, so coming to you live from the tropics. So just move through this with your breath, twisting, turning, whatever you need to do to kind of just loosen that spine up. And then find yourself in a neutral position, belly button drawing in towards the spine, shoulders rolling down and back. Take a deep breath here. And then just step your right foot forward, coming right foot, left knee on the mat, hinging forward here. Hands can come to the knee. They can come to heart center. Continue pressing forward so you're really opening up through that left hip flexor. And then if you'd like, you could extend those arms overhead, totally optional. Reach the arms up as you keep sort of lifting. So you're drawing long through the spine even as you're pressing forward. So you're not dropping into your hips. You're still lifting. Really actively opening the heart, opening the hip flexor. And then bringing yourself back up, bring your hands to heart center, and we'll do a twist here. So you're bringing your left elbow either to your right thigh or all the way across. Hands at heart center, looking up past your right shoulder. Breathing into that twist. Good, and then release that down, bring the hands back to the mat. Step that knee back, bring yourself to a modified plank, hands under shoulders, knees back away from your body so you're at an angle, and just lower yourself all the way to the ground, chest, chin, and hips. Sliding your hands out, rising up to Sphinx posture so you're on your forearms, and just tilt your head a couple of times, up and down, loosening up your neck. And then pausing that and turning your head side to side a couple of times. Loosening it up in that direction. And then maybe tilting it ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. Pausing if you feel like you need a stretch anywhere. You're contracting your glutes now to protect your low spine. Pressing feet into the mat, pausing that, coming back to center. See if you can lift your belly button a little bit higher. Pull the shoulders back a little bit more, contract the glutes a little bit more, and release that down. Press yourself back up, coming back to tabletop, finding that neutral position. And then step the left foot forward, hinging forward now, opening up through the right hip flexor. Same options, your hands can stay here for stability on your thigh. You could bring your hands to heart center, or you can extend those arms up, opening through the chest. This just challenges your balance more. In terms of the hip flexor, they're all more or less the same, but keep driving forward. Think forward while lifting, less than down. Open the heart, maybe gazing towards the ceiling. And then coming back up, hands coming to heart center and twisting. So right elbow to left thigh, or locking all the way over it, hands to heart center. Looking up past your shoulder. Taking a deep breath. Good, releasing that down, hands find the floor, again stepping back again to that modified plank. Lowering all the way down to the mat, this time bringing your arms beside you, palms on the mat, feet together on the mat. Pressing into your hands to lift your chest into a variation of locust. Pulling the shoulders back once again, contracting the gluteal muscles to support the back. Lifting a little bit higher, taking another breath. And then releasing that down, hands back under the shoulders, curl the toes under, push yourself through plank all the way to downward facing dog. Jogging through, bending one knee, bending the other knee, pressing the opposite heel towards the earth, giving yourself a stretch. And then pressing both heels towards the mat, thinking about rolling shoulders away from ears. So rather than pressing your chest to your legs, think about floating your sit bones up to the sky, palms and heels pressing into the mat. And a little bit of strength building here. So we're going to do a couple push-ups. Option 2 to do it from knees or from toes. So as you inhale, we're going to come out into plank, and we're going to do a push-up. So you can drop down to knees, or you can stay on your toes, press up, and come back to down dog. We're going to do that a couple of more times. Coming out into plank, modified or full push-up. If you hug your elbows to your rib cage, it helps to work that chaturanga tricep move. Back to down dog. 3 more times. Plank, inhale, exhale to push up, and press back. 2 more, coming out to plank, making sure you're not dropping your hips. You're aiming your chest for the floor. Even if it's a little teeny baby push-up, that's fine. You start to build that strength slowly, working through our shoulders here. After your 5th one, press yourself up, push yourself back, finding your down dog. Inhale, extend your right leg up, bend that right knee so you're pressing your heel towards the ceiling, the foot, your whole flat foot towards the ceiling, and then just make little pulses towards the ceiling. So it's not a giant kick, it's a tiny movement to isolate the gluteal muscles. We're working the glutes quite a bit. So we're just pulsing up, squeezing that glute to push that foot towards the ceiling. Good, and pause with that pulsing, extend the leg, swing it all the way through, press yourself up to a high lunge. Again, hands can come to heart center to start to stabilize, driving out through that back heel, front knee over ankle, never coming out over our toes. Extend your arms up, opening the chest a bit. All right, so we're going to do arms and legs, a little bit of coordination here. We're going to bend the back knee as we drop towards the earth. Careful to go down, not forward, so we're not working our front knee. At the same time, we're going to do a lateral pull down with our hands. So we're going to pull down, coming to cactus as we drop our knee, and then squeeze back up. 4 more times. Pulling down. So imagine resistance, like you're actually drawing weight down with your hands. Dropping that back knee towards the earth, the front knee just goes along for the ride. 2 more times, exhale to squeeze up. Inhale to drop down. Exhale to squeeze up. Good, just coming to that high lunge. Hands find heart center, press back to that back heel. And then bringing your left hand to the earth to twist. Right arm reaches up overhead. Taking a deep breath there. And bringing the right hand to the earth, stepping the right foot back, dropping to knees or staying to toes to come all the way down for cobra, or partway down chaturanga to rise up to your up dog, and pressing back to down dog. Always your option which version of vinyasa you take, or if you just skip it and go to down dog. Separate your feet about mat's distance apart. Take your left hand reaching back to your right ankle or calf or thigh, just not your knee. Maybe it just makes it to the floor in front of your foot. For a down dog twist, turning and looking past your right arm. Taking a breath here. Feeling the ribs expand. And then set that left hand back, walk your feet back to the center of the mat. Extend the left leg overhead, bending the left knee, flexing that foot so it's facing towards the ceiling, and little pulses up with that left leg. Squeezing the gluteal muscles. Sometimes tiny movements are really good for these big muscles. We don't want to feel this in our back That's why it's not a big kick. We're not arching our back is supported by our abs. Just little teeny pulses with the glutes. And then pause that, extend that leg, swing it all the way forward, planting it down, rising up to your high lunge on this side. Again, pushing through the back heel. Nice deep bend in the front knee without tracking over our toes. Hands beginning at heart center till you're stable, and then bringing those arms up overhead. And we're going to dip as we pull down. So squeezing the arms down, squeezing shoulder blades together, drop the knee towards the earth, and squeeze back up. If it helps, you can make fists with your hands. Imagine you're actually pulling a bar down and squeeze back up. And 3, exhale, and 2. We can actually tone without weights this way. And last one, and press back up. Good, finding yourself in that high lunge. And then bringing the right hand to the earth beside the foot as you open up to a twist, bringing that left arm to the ceiling. Breathing into the left side of the body. Releasing the hand down, step the left foot back to meet the right. Chaturanga, rising up to cobra or up dog, and pressing yourself to back dog, down dog. Once you get there, separate your feet, reaching your right hand towards your left ankle, calf, thigh, or the mat, turning and looking past your left arm in a down dog twist. Couple breaths there. And then replacing that hand, stepping your feet together, and step or hop to the front of your mat, coming to forward fold. Nice rounded back. You can bend your knees, maybe grab opposite elbow, shake it out or twist, whatever you need to do here to loosen up. And then take a deep inhale as you extend all the way up, gentle back bend. And exhale, hands to heart center. Okay. All right, working through a Surya Namaskar with some warriors. Inhale to extend up. Exhale to hinge forward. Inhale, halfway lift, hands come to shins, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, release the hands to the floor. Stepping right foot back, followed by left. Your version of vinyasa, working your way up to a downward facing dog. Pressing heels towards the mat. Rolling shoulders away from ears. Extend the right leg up overhead, bending the right knee, dropping the right foot towards the other side, stacking right hip on top of left. Think about lifting through your right knee. And here, extend your leg and then pull it back in. Extend the right leg and then bend. So your hip isn't moving, it's just the knee joint opening and closing. But you'll notice it changes the stretch on the hip. After about 5 of those, pause with that. Come back to center. Swing that leg all the way through, pivoting the back foot so you're rising up to warrior 1. So your hips are square facing forward. You might not have a super deep bend in your right knee because you really want to get the hips forward. Sometimes it helps to step the back foot out a little ways to get that shape. So this is an inward rotation of our left hip. Arms can extend overhead, beginning to pull the shoulders down and back, opening the chest towards the sky, taking a breath. Opening the left hip, transitioning this to warrior 2. Pulling the shoulder blades together, keeping that drishti point right over that right hand, checking to make sure you can see your toes. Nice deep bend in the front knee without tracking over the toes, so you find the level that's best for you. We're going to float through side angle bend and reverse warrior. So the right arm's going to come down to the thigh as we reach the left arm overhead, and then reverse that. Hand comes behind the back as we lift up towards the ceiling. So it's a fluid movement, but not fast. With your breath, side angle bend, reversing your warrior. We'll do about 3 of these, 3 side angle, 3 reverse warrior, and then find yourself back in your warrior two. Elbows or shoulder blades pulling together, arms strong. Can you get half an inch lower? Take a deep breath. Good, pivot this, coming to a power lunge. So we're hinging forward, arms are shooting behind us, and we're gonna do some tricep moves here. So you can just have your palms flat, facing towards one another. Curl your hands towards your shoulders, and then press them away. So we're not using weight here, but use your body's resistance, so you're not just swinging your hands, and you're actually working those tricep muscles. Two more, our body is hinged forward, supported by our core. Last one, press that forward, or back rather. And then when you're ready, launch yourself up onto your right leg. I'm just gonna step back so I don't go off frame. Finding warrior three. Arms shooting behind, back leg long and straight. So warrior three can be anywhere from nearly vertical to parallel to the floor. You find the version that's best for you. Deeply breathing, inhaling and exhaling. And then when you're ready, coming to standing, pulling that knee into your chest. Maybe roll the ankle if that feels good on your right foot. And then place that foot down. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Same thing on the other side. Inhale, flat back lift. Exhale, release. Stepping left foot back, followed by right. Working through vinyasa. Finding your way to your downward facing dog. Once you get there, extend your left leg up, bend your left knee, dropping that foot to the other side, really lifting through the left knee to stack left hip on right. Extending that left leg and bending it in. Extend and bend. So a lot of these moves we're doing nice and slowly, creating our own body's resistance. This creates both strength and flexibility. After about 5 of those, come back to center. Swing that left leg all the way through, pivoting on the back foot to rise up to your warrior one on this side. So most of us are going to be different. This side is much harder for me. I don't have a very deep bend in my left knee because of the position of my hips. It just is what it is. So we're going to keep pulling, trying to bring that right hip forward, pressing into the pinky edge of our back foot. What I love about the warriors is they're like not super hard postures, right? They're not terribly complex, but there's a lot going on. There's a lot working. Focus on what's happening in your body. Feel where you're making contact with the mat. Feel what muscles are working. Breathe into it. Feel your strength. These are very uplifting, confidence-building postures. Transition this, warrior two. So you may adjust your feet. I tend to have a wider stance in warrior two. Make sure that left knee isn't tracking in or out. Pulling the shoulder blades together, activate the back muscles, and keep pushing into the pinky edge of that back foot to protect your back knee. Floating through our moving sequence, so coming to side ankle bend on this side, lifting up and over to your reverse warrior. So the bottom half of our body isn't moving, just the top half. Like you're floating in water or air with your breath, matching movement. About 3 of each, and then working your way back to your warrior two. Find that focal point in front of you. And then pivot once again, coming to that power lunge position, driving through the back heel. Our body's at an angle, so we're not hitting our leg, we're supported above it, but we're shooting our energy forward. Now we're going to do bicep curls. So turn the palms to face forward, and then curl your hands up to your shoulders and back to your hips. Curl up and back. And 3. And if you ever wanted to, this is the sort of thing you could actually do with weights. You grab weights and increase that resistance. Last one. Good. This time we're going to bring our hands forward up overhead. And now come up to that same warrior 3. Left leg on the mat, right leg lifted. But now we're hinging forward with our arms overhead. If this is too much, you can always adjust your arm position. Push that right heel away. Pulling the belly button to the spine. Couple of breaths here, finding your stability. And then rising up, hugging that knee into your chest. Rolling that ankle a couple of times. Squeezing it in to stretch your back. And then releasing that down. Coming into chair, inhale, Utkatasana. Sitting back on our heels, knees over ankles, belly button in. Sitting as low as you can go without hurting your knees. This is working thighs and glutes. And forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, hands to the mat. Stepping the right foot forward, followed by the left. Lowering down, Chaturanga. Coming to your cobra or up dog. And working your way to your down dog. Taking a breath here. All right, similar sequence. Right leg is going to come up, come forward, find warrior one. Once in warrior one, bring the hands behind the back, clasping the hands together, gently pulling them down and away, opening the chest towards the sky, pulling the shoulders back while still pulling the hips forward. Inward rotation that bottom hip. And then folding this over into a humble warrior, letting the arms drift overhead, giving yourself a shoulder stretch. Rising back up, coming to warrior two, but keeping your hands where they are. So our hands still behind our back, but our torso is turning forward. Coming into side angle bend, supported by our core here. So you're hinging forward. Think about rotating that left shoulder towards the ceiling. Really pull the belly button towards the spine. You're having to really work your core because your hand is not down supporting you. Taking a deep breath here. Lifting up, reversing that warrior, leaving the hands where they are. Breathing into the right side body, tilting the gaze towards the ceiling. And then coming back to neutral before pivoting into that same power lunge, arms reaching behind us. Launching one more time into warrior three, pressing the heel away with our hands behind our back now. Again, you can always adjust the hand position if that does not work for you. Lifting up, balancing there. Bring your hands in front of you. We're going to come to eagle. So that left leg is going to cross around your right. Right arm is going to come over left, coming to eagle pose. Lift the elbows away from the body. Press the hands away from the body. You could modify this by simply holding shoulders. You could come back of palm to back of palm or palm to palm. And same thing with your feet. They don't need to wrap all the way around. If you want, you can sink low in your eagle. You could bend over. You don't have to, but you could. If you bent over, go ahead and bring yourself back to vertical. Stabilize yourself on that right foot. Unwrap your left foot and step it back behind you. So you're on train tracks. Tilt your body up towards the sky. Pressing the hands away, give yourself a big stretch in the back. Both legs are straight. Bringing yourself back to standing neutral. Bring the hands behind the body. We're going to come to pyramid. Option of hands on hips, hands fist to fist, or hands palm to palm. Hinging forward. As you hinge forward, you're pulling your right hip forward and your left hip back. Flat back, belly button drawing towards the spine, gazing out on the floor in front of you. So again, with pyramid, you can be up here, or you can be more parallel to the floor, or you can be lower, but the idea is to have a flat back. So try to find that place where you're not rounding your spine over. And then go ahead and release, let your spine round, let your arms drop and drape over that front leg, bending that knee as much as you need. And then step the left foot forward so you're hanging over in forward fold and take a breath. From there, bend the knees, rising up into chair. Inhaling and exhaling, sitting back on your heels. Forward fold. Inhale, flat back lift. Exhale, release, stepping left foot back, followed by right. Exhale, Chaturanga. Rising up through Cobra and up dog. or up dog I should say. Exhale to down dog. Inhale, left leg lifts, comes forward, plants down, rising up to your warrior one on this side. Once you find warrior one, bring the hands behind the back, clasping them together, pulling the shoulder blades back, opening the chest towards the ceiling, bending the front knee, pulling the right hip forward, and then fold that over into a humble warrior, letting the arms drape overhead, giving yourself a shoulder stretch. When you're ready, pull yourself back to standing. Transition this to warrior two. So our hands stay where they are. We keep pulling them down the back, keep pulling the shoulder blades together, opening the chest. But now our chest is facing the other direction. Our right hip is pulling back. Transitioning this to our side angle bend, modification of it. Really working to pull that right shoulder towards the ceiling, looking up to the ceiling, engaging the abdominal muscles to protect the back. Deepening the bend in the left leg, but not lowering your body onto your leg. And then press yourself up. Pivoting this into our power lunge. And then when you're ready, launching into your warrior three with this hand position, arms pulling behind the back. Belly button drawing in towards the spine. Pushing the right leg away. When you're ready, coming to standing, wrapping the right leg around the left, wrapping left arm on top of right, finding your variation of eagle. So again, that foot could be on the floor if you needed. Hands could be on the shoulders. Any variation is fine. Wherever you are, try to lift your elbows away from your body. And if your hands are in front of you, try to press them away. That's going to give you that nice back stretch. Your option to stand tall or to sink down into your nest. And then if you want, you could even sink further, bowing over, nesting your eagle. If you bent over, go ahead and bring yourself up. Good. Unwrap the legs, step it back behind you. Legs are on train tracks. Lift the arms towards the ceiling, pressing the elbows like you're trying to reach the ceiling, giving yourself a deep stretch here. Good, and release that. Transitioning to pyramid, so hands behind the back in whatever position works for you. Hinging forward, again, your right hip is going to want to shift back. Bring your right hip forward, shift your left hip back, so you're trying to find evenness in your hips. Belly button towards the spine, flat back. It's gazing out in front of you on the mat. And then release that down, forward fold, letting yourself drape over that front leg. Deep inhale and exhale. And then stepping the right foot forward, forward fold. Rising up one more time into your chair. Bring your hands to heart center. Option to come up on tippy toes for a moment. Can you sink even lower? How low can you get your hips? See if you can stay with your hips as low as they are, your chest lifted, and then put your knees back on the floor, or your heels back on the floor. And we're going to twist. So you've got to get those hips nice and low. It doesn't matter what side you do first. We're going to do both. So you're turning and twisting. Elbow can come just to your thigh. If you want, it can lock. But try not to bend from your hips into the lock. Try to shoot those hips behind you so your spine is twisting, which is what we're going for here. Inhale and exhale. Good. Come back to center, coming to half chair. Extend your arms out. Sit back. Lower your body down as low as you can, bringing your chest towards your thighs. And then bring your chest up, staying nice and low in your legs. Bring your hands to heart center and twist to the other side. Notice if your knees are shifting, the opposite side from where you're twisting will tend to shift forward. Your arms will tend to float to your armpit. See if you can keep keep your hands in the middle of your chest. See if you can ask your knees to stay together. And then release that forward fold, letting yourself hang for a moment. Bending the knees and rolling yourself all the way up. Deep inhale as you extend up. Exhale, release down. Stepping right foot back, followed by left. Exhale, chaturanga. Working your way to your down dog. Extend the right leg up, bending the right knee, dropping into the opposite side. Option to flip the dog here if you want. Right foot comes down to the mat, left foot shoots forward, pushing up, giving yourself a stretch to that hip. Looking up over your back shoulder, otherwise you just stay where you are, no reason to flip to wild thing. If you flipped, flip yourself back. We're going to hinge forward, bringing our right elbow to our right knee, pausing and holding there. And then it's like you're zipping down your elbow. You drop your knee towards your wrist, and then you lift back up to your elbow. Lower that right knee towards your wrist, and press back up. Last time. Lift back up, step that right foot on the outside of the mat, pivot the back foot, finding a warrior stance, and then walk your hands out to the left. So you're kind of in a variation of a warrior and a down dog. Right knee is forward with a deep bend, back foot is planted, and you're reaching your arms out to the far left side of your mat, finding a warrior-esque position. Take a breath there. Good. Walk the hands back. Bring that foot to the center of the mat. Squaring your foot with your hands. And press up. Warrior one. Open that up to warrior two. And then straighten the front leg. Turning so you're on the long edge of your mat. Toes pointing outwards. Arms find that same cactus goddess position we were in earlier, and drop the knees down into goddess. So sit very far back so you can wiggle your toes, trying to keep chest lifted. I find goddess to be one of the hardest postures ever. I look at myself and I'm like, oh my gosh, my alignment is so bad. It is so hard because you want to stay vertical. You need to sit back. You want the knees over ankles. There is so much going on with goddess. So just work with your own body. If it feels awkward, don't worry. You're not alone. Option to lift up on the left ball of your foot, lifting your heel, and lower, switching sides, and lower, and then just go back and forth. The idea here is to not shift your body weight. Can you stay absolutely still, just lifting one heel and then the other? Finish on the opposite side from where you started. Both heels down, press yourself up. Turn your feet parallel, hinge forward, release your body all the way down. Take a couple breaths, letting yourself hang over. And then bend your knees and roll yourself all the way up. Pivot towards the front of the mat, bend the front knee so the hands can find the mat. Step the right foot back, working through vinyasa on this side. Pressing back to your down dog. And when you get there, extending the left leg, bending the left knee, option to stay right here, or option to flip into wild thing, right leg shoots straight, left leg is bent. Looking up over that left hand. Deep inhalation. And flipping that back over. Lifting the left leg, left knee comes to left elbow, hovering, holding yourself there, and then drop the right knee to the wrist and bring it back up. Zip down your forearm and press back up. So your arms aren't bending, it's just your knee from your hips. And then step that left foot, outer edge of the mat, pivot the back leg so you're in warrior position, and then walk your hands out away from your body in this kind of downward dog position. Like if a down dog and a warrior two had a baby, this is what it would look like. Breathe into that. Good, walk your hands back to center. Step your right foot up to the outer edge of the mat and come down into a low squat. So if this does not work for you, you can definitely sit on a block. If your heels are lifted, that is not a big deal. Sometimes it helps to put something under the heels to make it more comfortable for you. See if you can grow tall through the spine. Press your thighs out, opening up your hips here. All right, we are working our way down, but I'm going to give you options here. So if anyone is working on crow, you could come to crow, bringing hands in front of you, or if you want to learn crow, your hands come on the mat. And what I often like to do is just have you sort of balance, start working on that feeling of your body weight in your hands. If you're working on jumping back, it's helpful to go to crane rather than crow. If you're in crow, your knees are balancing on the backs of your triceps. Toes are trying to define one another, and you're balancing. It may be possible to jump back from that position, but I cannot do it, so I work from crane, which is the knees higher on the arms, trying to balance. So from wherever you are, you can either just come down, lift out of your squat, or if you want, jumping back into plank. I don't have it this morning. Finding plank, and then lowering all the way down to the mat. Good, bringing yourself to that tree position, or the cactus position one more time. So arms out beside you, feet pressing down into the mat, and then lift your chest off the mat. Bring your arms out in front of you, parallel, and then pull back, just like we did before. Reach the arms out, lift the chest high, pull back to cactus. 3 more times, extend and pull back. Extend and pull back. This time extend and hold, lift the legs as well, so everything is lifting off the mat. Arms are lifting up, legs are lifting up, chest is lifting up, squeeze, 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 and release down. Press your hands to the mat, push yourself up and back, come into child's pose. This time you do want your knees together so you can round over to counter pose that back extension we just did. Taking a deep breath. Go ahead and bring yourself up, spinning your legs around, bringing them out in front of you, sitting up tall, flexing your feet. If your knees are slightly bent, that's fine. Long, tall spine. I'm just going to face you. Bringing the left leg up high on the inner thigh, letting that left knee drop down towards the mat. Inhale, arms extend up. Exhale, release forward. Letting the left knee drop down to the mat. You can reach the left arm across the body towards that right ankle. And just breathe into this a couple of times. One last sort of hip opener for you. And bringing yourself up. Place that left foot on the floor, just a little bit away from your right leg. Sit up tall, and we're going to twist towards that leg, giving it a hug. Hand comes behind the body, actively pulling that left shoulder back. You don't need to look way over your left shoulder. Think about twisting through the rest of your spine. Keep active that extended leg, so you're flexing that foot, growing tall through the spine. And back to center. Extend the left leg, bring the right leg up, foot on the inside of the thigh. Left leg extended, deep inhale as you reach the arms up, extend the spine as you relax forward, letting the arms and the head and the body melt over. Again, if you want a deeper stretch, you could reach that right arm across the body, grabbing hold, or across the leg, grabbing hold of the outside of the calf or ankle or foot. Wherever you are, just breathe into it, let yourself release. You build that flexibility just sitting here and breathing into it, wherever you are with your flexibility. And bring yourself up out of that, placing the foot down beside the leg. Again, think about sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, exhale to twist, hugging that leg. Right hand behind the body, flexing the left foot. Pulling that right shoulder back and away. Couple of deep breaths into the twist. And release that back to center. Press both legs out in front of you. Deep inhalation up, extend forward, forward, forward. Think about trying to reach out something way in front of you, reaching, and let that take you all the way down to your Paschimottanasana. And then extend out of that, growing tall, 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 tall. Bring the hands behind the body, pressing into the mat, just opening the shoulders for a moment. Bending the knees, placing the feet on the floor, arms extend out in front of you. Pull the belly button in as you roll yourself with control all the way down the body. Reach the legs down below you, reach the arms overhead, give yourself a deep stretch. Bring the knees into the chest and give yourself a little hug and a little rock from side to side. Maybe coming to happy baby, so you have a little bit of an inversion here, pulling knees towards the armpits. Trying to keep your low back in the mat rather than lifting up, feeling how that stretch feels. Feet flex towards your face. And then release out of that, extend your legs long, bring your arms beside your body. I'm going to do one thing here that's my kind of a new little thing that I like to do. If it doesn't work for you, you don't have to do it. But just from right where you are, lying in your Savasana position, I want you to flick your feet so you're sort of rocking back and forth on your heels. And your whole body starts to move. And if your spine's loose, your head will kind of start to nod. But you don't want to nod it for it. Just let your body move with the impulse coming from your feet. So you're just literally rocking back and forth. Where I learned this, they said this was a chi technique. It's to sort of reset your chi. I also find it sort of very Kundalini-esque. I think of it as like getting our chakras all in alignment. So just keep breathing. Keep rocking, whole body moving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then stop, relax, release. And see if you notice a little bit of energy, a vibration in your body. And just take a couple deep breaths here, inhaling through the nose and letting it go through the mouth. Feeling yourself sink into the mat. Letting go of any last remaining tension. You're welcome to stay here because you are just in your home or wherever you are. So if you want a longer Savasana, you can stay here. Otherwise, bring your knees into your chest. And roll yourself to your right-hand side into the fetal position. For a moment, pausing there, maybe resting your head on your extended right arm. So we started this practice in child's pose, and we worked our way to standing, and then found our way back towards the earth. And so now I like to think of it as taking a moment here in the fetal position, like we're being reborn into the rest of our day, a little reset for our body, finish the day, finish the week. So take a moment here to thank yourself, giving yourself love and gratitude for stepping foot on the mat today. And then when you're ready, bring yourself up to a seated position with your eyes closed if you feel comfortable doing so. Inhale, reach those arms up overhead. Press your palms together. Exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. And just sitting here for a moment and breathing, feeling the energy in your body, noticing your state of mind, breath, without judgment, just awareness of your body, how you feel. Hopefully feeling strong, rooted, grounded, confident, the inner warrior in you, ready to take on anything. Om Shanti Om. I thank all of you for sharing your practice with me today, sharing your energy from afar. Namaste.